The Chinese president just met with Canada for the first time since 2017, and America is angry over it. But it gets worse. Whilst the Canadian president was visiting Xi Jinping, they signed a massive trade deal, specifically on electric vehicles. But you need to know, one of the main reasons why the Canadian president has gone to China is actually due to the trade war that started between Canada and the US when Trump took office last year. And so this is a huge slap in the face to the US. Rather than doing a deal with the US on electric vehicles made in the US, like Tesla, they've gone to China. Now, the Canadian Prime Minister spoke on the deal he signed with China, and specifically, Canada has agreed to allow in 49,000 Chinese electric vehicles with a tariff of just 6.1%. That's down from 100% that the previous Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau introduced on Chinese electric vehicles. The Canadian Prime Minister said, quote, "This is a return to levels prior to recent trade frictions, but under an agreement that promises much more for Canadians." But something really interesting, the Canadian Prime Minister said he hasn't done this to piss the US off. He's done this so that Canada can make their own electric vehicles based on the Chinese ones. I'm not joking, he said he wants to copy Chinese electric vehicles. Specifically, Canada said, quote, "For Canada to build its own competitive electric vehicle market, we will need to learn from innovative partners, access their supply chains, and increase local demand for electric vehicles." In other words, the Canadian Prime Minister has signed this electric vehicles deal with China not to annoy the US, but to understand and gather information on Chinese electric vehicles so that Canada can make their own ones and copy them and then sell them in Canada themselves. Along with that, in this visit, the Canadian Prime Minister agreed on far more with China, and really this was a very successful visit for Canada economically. But, like I said, the US is going to be pretty annoyed over this. And as soon as the US says something, you'll be glad you followed me, because I'll be the first one to tell you about it.